The earth cannot move without music. The earth moves in a certain rhythm, a certain sound, a certain note. When the music stops, the earth will stop and everything upon it will die.
Hi, I'm Stuart Fingerhut, and I am the Experiential Creative Director here at Production Club. It is almost July 4th, 2023, so I'm sitting here outdoors, which is lovely, and we're having, what else do you want? Is that enough?
That's good.
Okay, cool. Think about this stuff. Yeah, so before I actually got into the world of creative, I was just living and breathing the world of music. So I had a night at the Mountain Bar, it was called. It was Jorge Pardo, he was an artist. It was his bar in Chinatown. It was called Splice. It was a monthly, we would do, and this was like proto dubstep, drum and bass. Still, like, the things weren't really formulated. It was, that it was just a really interesting time in the scene from like 2005, 2008. So that was cool. I had a label called BijouBreaks, and that is still up on Bandcamp, and it's all free. It was all breakbeat. I was crazy into breakbeat. I had a syndicated radio show called Sixth and Fairfax of all breakbeat stuff, and that archive is on MixCloud now. So I had a monthly show, and then it was syndicated to other internet radio stations. And then the whole fulcrum was the site called BijouBreaks. And BijouBreaks became like the second or first destination for breakbeat music from like the early 2000s until maybe like 2007 or 8. And yeah, I hosted mixes, I had interviews and sponsorship, and we'd go to events, and everything kind of congealed into this ecosystem under like Bijou, which meant jewel, like a little jewel. So BijouBreaks, Bijou Beats, Sixth and Fairfax radio show, and then Splice. I had a partner who helped with the production of that. And yeah, that was my life. I was one of those people that I just loved it. I was just like so passionate literally about the music, living and breathing. Super fan. Winter Music Conference, events here, traveling overseas to go to events, being friends with these people. I have like way early videos on YouTube of some of those people performing at places that probably don't even exist anymore. People like Meet Katie and Elite Force and Adam Freeland, and those names. I kind of wanted it to. I kept like, oh, how do I do this? But again, I got this draw of design. Just got its hooks in me.
Yeah.
And so some of it, I continued it maybe like 2 years in art center, but then it just became too much. I find it's still electronic, but it's evolved over, I've been going to clubs since I was 19, so 25 years. There's no way to replicate the experience for me being on the dance floor, surrounded by your people who are all there, with intention. Like, we're all there for that. Like, no one like accidentally came into this warehouse. There's no, in that scene. We're all there, they're human, and then being bombarded by bass, where you feel it. It's something unbelievable. It's not the same in your car, it's not the same at home, you can't replicate that, in the event world, and that's why like the work we do physically is so much different. And personally, that's what my draw is, like feeling it, and then like being with, my people. It doesn't matter age, race, gender, what, all those things. That's what club life is so special, because all are welcome in however you want to be.
Yeah.
So you can be however you want to be, but the rule is you have to let everyone else be whatever they want to be. So I'm however I am there, and everyone else is there, and it's funny, it's entertaining, but we're all there in unity for the same reason, and that's what makes it so special. 16-year-olds that are going to club, but like, yeah, there were families there with like their baby, and the baby was on the ground, just like, it's loud as hell, but the baby's having fun. So culturally, it's just very different, very like, put people that drink there, put them away, don't let them overlap with, it's just different. Over there, it's like, hey, cool, lunchtime, okay, see you back at work, and then on the way home, whatever, and then families will meet up and part. It's just a different, culture and social thing. So art also is a more recent infatuation phenomenon, which Yeah, I didn't really know any of this stuff. Even after, when I was in school at Art Center, it was very design. I didn't really get exposed much to the world of art, but something about it just creatively, I'm just love learning and seeing, and for me, it's inspired. So the art thing is more recent, but again, I'm just like a carnivore, like a like one of those wood chippers, like books, exhibits, watching videos of other video, like
That's how you create, though. You
how to
have to process
understand.
everything.
Yeah, and get so deep. I mean, at the house, there's like stacks and stacks of books of shows I've been to or artists I like or whatever, and then all the videos and stuff, and then seeing stuff. Yeah, you can't beat seeing things. Like that's the whole point, because it's not just the Instagram view. It's like there's dimensionality sometimes to these things, especially sculptures, especially anything that's a lighting experience. Yeah, you can't simulate that with your phone. So, yeah, art's a huge. I mean, just honestly, right now, I was talking to Brian about this. We live in a world where we have access to so much stuff, but all that stuff is actually maybe 10 years up to like 10 years ago. That's when like I'll call it the Internet Archive started. So if you acknowledge all the stuff that has been out in the world, art, books, music, etc., that was like not on the internet, there is an insane amount of stuff for creative people like us to explore, to kind of mine, to revisit. He has stacks of these old Omni magazines. I never saw those when I was, but like now I'm like, this is like 40, 30-year-old stuff. Like there must be some fresh as fuck stuff in here. There's so much art. Every day there's a new artist that I've never heard of. I'm like, damn, that's amazing stuff. But they just aren't on the internet, or haven't, or they came before the internet. They're not Jeff Koons, or they're not Damien Hirst. But there's so much stuff. And so that's why museums and galleries, reading, um, watching things. I mean, I think art history is maybe the most powerful sphere, bowl, ecosystem, whatever you want to call it, for us to explore and investigate and not rip off, but say, this is awesome from 40 years ago. What could I do with it now? I take this really cool art, scan it in, and turn it into like a point cloud and like do some wild visuals. Can I actually manipulate this again with AI? Even for me, AI text to image generation. Cool. Now there's AI text to video generation. Cool. Now there's AI text to 3D model generation. Cool. Now if you don't spend more than a day or a week on these things, then you'll never really know or be able to like develop. So, kind of picking and choosing is also important. Finding interesting stuff is part of our challenge right now. Doing something interesting with it is our opportunity. And the means to do that is like, for me, my brain is active. I'm learning things. I feel like, wow, I've accomplished something. Just installing some of this stuff is challenging. Let alone using it is super challenging, because there's no books for this and no one even knows what they're doing. Yeah, we're all just like, everyone's just kind of making it up. So, but that's what keeps it exciting. And for all those things, they all definitely feed back into like the work at Peace that I do, PC, because that's where we get new ideas, inspirations, smash different ideas together. My deepest, darkest secret. Oh my lord.
Come on, Stu, give us one.
Deepest, darkest secret. Might have been times when I was a kid that like I stole money from my parents, like without them knowing, from like their secret money store area in their, bedroom drawer thing. Yeah, that might have happened. I never told anyone. They probably maybe deciphered that. What other deep dark secret? I don't know. Deep dark. I mean, I don't really have a lot of deep dark secrets. I've been through some like deep dark shit. And maybe that's why, because I've like purged through having cancer. You just like, you're almost like a lizard, like your layer skin is like you molt. You're like, really, oh, okay, I got through that. I've been through divorce. Okay, so shedding, yeah, in the best ways. So, I don't know the secrets. Maybe I have told my therapist some of those. I was kind of a hooligan when I was a kid. I had a warrant out for my arrest in Pennsylvania for a while.
For what? Okay, this is a good one.
For nuisance behavior when I.
What did you do?
That's the thing. My friend and I were out. We were at Penn State at the time. We were just out late, and I don't know if we were even drinking. We were just out. We were just hoodlums, yelling, being loud, and I think it was. And we again nothing related to what the incident that happened. Like anyway, we got reported, and they came because they thought we were like yelling indecent things to the officers.
Oh.
And we're like, no, that's not at all we do. But anyway, that escalated. Because I think they like gave me a ticket, and I was like, what? Again, I'm young. I'm like, what the fuck is that? Stupid. And I didn't pay it, and like I showed up at my dorm. I wasn't there. I was in class to like get me, and then I like walked in and turned myself. I'm like, here I am. What do I have to pay? But they're like,
scared?
yeah, yeah. At the time, I'm sure I was. And then actually, I was like, I think I didn't want to pay, or I wanted to like take a stand, and I ended up in court.
Oh fuck.
And I brought the dude. I'm like, we got to tell them what actually happened. We might sound like idiots, but like, we just like this was not what we're doing. And then another friend was supposed to come, and she bailed. She never showed up. So anyway, it all worked out. Nothing really happened. It was just like stupid nonsense as like a kid. I was probably maybe 18, 19. Again, just whatever. That's something, but there's no record of it. It wasn't like a real thing. So.
This is what you got out of it. This tattoo.
Yeah, it's part of it. Yeah. My favorite sound. I really like the sound when it's quiet. You don't hear the freeway. I like the not sound of the freeway. I like the not sound of LA. That's why I really like going to into the outdoors. Even just going on into Angeles Crest, up Echo Mountain or Jones Peak or Mount Wilson. Through that, then you get to hear new things. Birds, just the wind, like natural wind, rustling. Not to be corny,
No, I like that.
but it's like those are things that you don't hear here. All I do is hear race car Jimmy over there.
Yeah.
Like cute birds in the morning is kind of fun. Sound of like squirrels when you like hand them a peanut when you feed them.
Oh yeah,
like,
you have like squirrels.
Used to,
you have
less
a lot
so
of
now.
animals.
Yeah,
You're
less.
like the Snow White of.
I am Stu White.
Stu White.
Yeah, I am.
Do people call you that?
No one's ever called me that. Something that is a great revelation is the being a sarcastic person.
Yes.
And understanding, and and having almost, it's kind of like something that is like branded on you. Once you're sarcastic, it's kind of always. If you don't see someone for 5 years or 5 weeks, you're still that sarcastic person. But I've learned that it's not the person that I want to be anymore, and not the person that it's never really served me well. I was born into it, like genetically, there's sarcasm in me, and nurture and nature made me sarcastic. So yeah,
I always thought it was funny. I never knew if you were serious or not.
It is, and I thought that too. And that was the thing with sarcasm. You have an out because you don't know if the person's serious, but the person also doesn't know if you're serious or not. And then like there's just communication can be hard in relationships, in work, in everything in life.
Yeah.
So yeah, undoing that is something that I'm working and continue to do. I didn't really even know it was sarcasm because it was just how I was raised and brought up and living for so long. And then the woman I married, she was English, and they're all sarcastic. So it seemed like my whole world had this artificial like sarcastic film to it. Then, and not as an excuse, but like I just didn't kind of until later. Some people can be really sarcastic but use it really nasty, such as Secession. In Secession, a show I love, sarcasm is ever present, but it's like to hurt and to be a jerk. Even like when the dad says to the son, like, well, yeah, come over here and suck my dick. Like, crazy, right? Like, that's part of the show. I was more of like jokey. But again, sarcasm doesn't translate very well. It's misunderstood. So it was also, I was sometimes ill-equipped to like to be comfortable in like weird conversations. You'd be like, make a joke, like really just inappropriate, but you didn't know how to react or how to respond. So it was kind of like, yeah, this like protective thing. And also be like, blah, 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 blah. And then you actually don't have a position. You're just putting something kind of silly out there and then seeing what people are going to react to.
I
That's
thought you were
stupid.
experimenting and testing
Yeah,
the
some
waters.
in some ways, maybe certain. Some people definitely do it more than others, but it was also, yeah, just I thought it was funny to lighten the mood sometimes.
Yeah, it did. It did.
So sarcasm, and then part two is procrastination, the importance of time. That's definitely, I think an important skill to really understand. Again, I was nurtured and natured in like time really doesn't matter if we're late, if we're early, if we cancel something, if we don't tell anyone, if we blah 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 blah, wait till the last minute, all these things. Yeah, so like undoing that. It could be mail, it could be making an uncomfortable phone call, it could be doing a chore you don't like, just do your dishes, or just put them on. It's those other things, and it's like, wait, just do it. Why like spend your brain energy cycles like thinking about it again if you don't have to? Like, but it's also a form of hiding. Like, oh, I'll just put it off.
And you do, and it takes 2 seconds. You're like, oh fuck, should have done it.
Or whatever, it escalates. You miss out on an opportunity. You don't reply, and so yeah. Anything else? I'm here. I don't mind to be like, I'm not like Big Papa like here, but I've been around for a bit, so I'm happy to be available to anyone that wants to talk about whatever. Judgment-free zone.
Thank you.
In some far-off place, many light years in space, I'll wait for you. Where human feet have never trod, where human eyes have never seen. I'll build a world of abstract dreams and wait for you.